What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Friday, people. Looking forward to the weekend and Arsenal back in action tomorrow against Vincent Kompany's Burnley, people, before a boring international break arrives and, 2 weeks of no Arsenal and Gareth Southgate and all of that business. But big up to everyone locked in. Hope you're well. And I'm on time today, people. I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. Oh, I think I can live it up sometime. Let me not even start, people. It's Friday. It's vibes, people. You know how the thing goes already. Man's on time, people. Do you know why I'm on time? Basically, I'm only on for about 40 minutes today. I'll be on Bleacher Report at 2:45 with a match day preview on there. The link is in the description below. So if you download the Bleacher Report app, I'll be over there at 2:45, about 20-25 minutes preview. So I had to make sure I was on time because we got no time to waste. I got to get a 1-hour show done in about 40 minutes. But you know what? It feels good turning up on time. I actually need to do that on a regular basis and not make it a one-off. I can't lie. But big up to all the community locked in. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a great week. And listen, at least things have got a little bit better for Arsenal this week. We beat Sevilla. We're top of the Champions League. 1 win out of 2 must be possible for us to win that group. And, of course, Burnley this weekend. Now, let's be honest. We got to respect every single team in the Premier League. Of course, anything can happen. But we should be clipping up Burnley this weekend, man. Burnley at home. Vincent Kompany. Vincent Kompany's trying to play Pep Guardiola football, some champagne football with some Lambrini players. Like, it don't add up. I respect you, Vinny, though. He was a serious baller. But I'm expecting goals and some entertainment this weekend. I can't lie. But listen, big up to everyone locked in. Really appreciate your support as always. Let me not waffle on too much because I do need to get this. You're a kit merchant, he said. Listen, this. Do you know what it is? The training kit sometimes is better to invest in than the actual kits because what I've noticed, some of you may be different, but with the kits from the previous seasons, I don't really wear them anymore because I kind of feel like it's almost like the kit's out of date now. Yeah, that's last season's. But the training kits, I feel like they can run for years and years afterwards and you still just get away with it. So, and they're cheaper as well. Let's keep it a buck. Training kit t-shirts, 40 quid. You know, the actual home kit's 80, 90, 100 quid. So, yeah, man, training kit settings. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's stop waffling and let's get into it. Let's start with the headline news. And that is regarding the one Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey is injured. In other news, water is wet. The sky is blue. Well, grey if you live in England. Yeah, Thomas Partey is injured. No one's going to be surprised about that one. People, give me 1 second. I've got a delivery at the door. And no, it isn't much. I was actually going to ignore that, but the man's banging on the door. I thought police was raiding the house. It's DPD at the door with a delivery. It is not merch, I promise you, people. I would show you if it was, but you won't believe me. You're going to think it's merch, aren't you? I respect it. Next day delivery, beat Sevilla. Ordered the new train. Nah, I'm joking. I actually didn't. Anyway, right, let's get into this. Thomas Partey's injured. None of you will be surprised. John Cross has put the story out. He's trying to creep his way back into the Arsenal news, isn't he? You know, he was kind of dismissed when Wenger left and he went to Chelsea and started doing their news. But John Cross has come out and has said, Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey has undergone a specialist procedure for treatment on a thigh injury, is now set to miss the rest of 2023. Mikel Arteta is still uncertain of Partey's exact return date, and that may tempt him to move into the market for midfield cover. So Thomas Partey is out until 2024. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Partey is out. That Cat D car, I told you people, it may be a good car. but the engine's knackered on it. You don't buy it, you don't risk it, you ain't getting no insurance on it. He's now a clapped out Ford Escort, and I respect Ford Escorts, but yeah, it's not happening for Partey at the moment. Missed 3 games, I think, in 3 years at Atletico Madrid. He's barely played 3 games for Arsenal. I mean, it's so disappointing. I got to be honest, I was very excited when we signed this guy. I didn't spin around like Robbie did at the Emirates, but I wasn't far off that. And it's turning into a bit of a disaster, this. And the reason I say it's a disaster is the guy is such a good player. And imagine having him in centre midfield next to Declan Rice with Odegaard just in front. It's an outstanding midfield, but the guy's never available. Now, what's interesting, and I can see a lot of you in the comments, sell him, get rid of him. According to reports today, Juventus have now dropped their interest in Thomas Partey and are now targeting a move for Calvin Phillips from Manchester City, which I think would suit City because City don't really want Phillips to go to an English club, especially one near the top. So it probably works for them. Juventus get a player. You can't blame them. The guy's on 200 grand a week. He's consistently injured and he's not available. So it's very disappointing. Thomas Partey will be out till January. Now, the interesting thing, when he comes back in January, is he going to come back from injury, go straight to AFCON and play for Ghana until the end of January? Or are Arsenal going to say, listen, he's just had an operation. He's not really ready to go to an international tournament. We're going to keep him here and maybe get him ready for mid-January. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes to AFCON, of course. It probably means a lot for him to play for his country. So we may not see him in an Arsenal shirt until the start of February. It's not breaking news. We kind of knew he was going to be out for a while. I think he'll leave in the summer. Nobody's going to be desperate to buy him in January when he's injured. So I think you'll see him go in the summer. He'll have a year left on his contract. He's on 200 grand. I don't see Arsenal extending that, and I think they'll offload him, which is a real shame because he's a top player. And when he's fit and available, he's outstanding. And imagine how good him and Rice would look. Maybe we'll get to see it for the last few months of the season, which means between now and probably January, maybe February, you're talking about Jorginho. Played well the other night, but in the Premier League, there have been some very indifferent performances. Darren, yeah, I will be on Bleacher Report 2:45, so bear with me. I'm going to have to sort of skim through this show a little bit quicker than usual. Da Vinci said, big up C, still shaking my head over this midfield versus last season. Man wanted Caicedo, ended up with Kai Havertz. What is this like? I mean, Caicedo, Kai Havertz. I mean, we were nearly there. The first 3 letters sound the same, people. But hey, it is what it is. Big up Da Vinci. Carl said, it's on an athlete to stay healthy and fit. It is, but listen, I think some players can do more to stay fit. Train better, look after yourself better. Sometimes you are just unlucky. Sometimes the training schedule is too stressful on your body. There's a number of factors. I don't just actually blame injury on a player. I'm not saying in Thomas Partey's case, I don't know, but sometimes, the training routine could be too much. I'd prefer Kai Senna. Listen, Kai Gino, there you go. Yeah, we didn't quite get what we expected. As I said, it's like your mum saying you're having pizza tonight. You expect Domino's, you got a Co-op small pizza that was on sale because it runs out of date tomorrow. It's not quite the same. We wanted Caicedo. We got Kai Havertz. But we'll make it work. Well, I'd like to think we will, but in this case, maybe not. George said, I bet you will get fit in time for AFCON. He'll play all the games his team is involved in. Then he'll have a setback. He'll be ruled out for the season. And, of course, this is not news that we're surprised with. But it's crazy, isn't it? The guy literally played 13 minutes of football for Arsenal after coming back from the first injury, and now he's having to have an operation. What the hell is going on? There should be a full investigation into Arsenal with these injured players. This cannot be normal. I know other players have got injuries as well, but it's just the amount of injuries we seem to get is like no other. And it's been happening for a long time, this as well. Which is why I said, genuinely, that training ground is a concern for me. Let's move on anyway. In more ways than one. Thomas Partey. As far as I'm concerned, Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey is it's just an added bonus now. I don't even consider him part of this team because he hardly ever plays for us. If we can get him back at the end of January, start of February, then bonus. But apart from that, I'm calling him Thomas Partey today. Latte said, Arteta said Kai's probably the best player in the last 3 games. I mean, I'm wearing it, and as you said, Kiap. In Jamaica, they say, Kiap! Kiap! Stop the Kiap! We need a top quality forward, thinking midfielder and a 30 striker. So a lot of money. Are they going to spend it? Cad said, how do I find you on Bleacher Report? Links in the description. Download the app. That link will take you straight there once you've downloaded it. I agree with Ash. He's a squad player. And we've been saying this for a number of weeks. Thomas Partey is now the squad player. Jorginho is the starting midfielder. Not because of quality, because of availability. Eddie Nketiah is playing more games than Gabriel Jesus. Again, not because of quality, because of availability. We must sell Partey. He's always injured, never play 1 in 2 games in the season. It is bad. El Paso said Thomas part-time. Listen, he's not even part-time at the moment. He just does the odd shift when we're short, you know. The guy's on a 0-hour contract. Lawrence said, Big C, bit of ITK. Odegaard isn't injured. He's had a bust-up with Arteta. I mean, listen, if it's true, then fair enough. I appreciate you giving us some insight. Interesting that he's in the Norway squad, but ain't kicking a ball for us. But, hey, I don't want to spread rumours. If you've got the info, then I appreciate it. He's a Thomas Freelancer, they're calling him. Yeah, he turns up when he wants, you know. It's crazy. It's crazy. And big up LZA, who's become a member. We will do member streams next week, people. International break. Settings. Thomas on call. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on from that one and let's look at potential replacements. Obviously, Thomas Partey being ruled out until January has got people talking. Fabrizio Romano's come out with a story. Never misses an opportunity, of course. And he has said Arsenal's top target is none other than Douglas Luiz. We love the recycling, don't we? You know, one that we've been in for before. We bring it all the way back round and go back in again. Douglas Luiz is Arsenal's top midfield target. He is considered the perfect midfielder by people at Arsenal. They would love to sign him. Now, I'm going to speak a few things about Douglas Luiz, right? I'll speak a few things about Douglas Luiz. I'm going to be honest. When we were linked with Douglas Luiz the first time, I was very underwhelmed. I didn't particularly rate him that much. I actually think he's a better player now than the player that we tried to sign. Was it a year ago? 18 months ago, I think it was. I'm not... For me, he wouldn't be top of my list. Right, I've said it before. The likes of Barella, people like that, they're the guys that I want to see come to Arsenal. But I do think he's a good player. And if you offered him to us in January, I would take him. However, let's break down this whole situation, right? Douglas Luiz, in terms of stats, is having a good season. He's playing a little bit more attacking this season under Emery. Last season, 37 games. He only missed 1 game, and that was through suspension, not through injury. So availability is number 1. 6 goals, 6 assists. That's a good season. Xhaka got 7 goals, 7 assists. Luiz did that playing in a worse team. He's involved with Brazil. He's got 5 goals and 1 assist in 11 Premier League games. He got a fantastic assist last night to Ollie Watkins in Europe, and he's definitely on form at the moment. I would take him. Now, he wouldn't be top on my list, as I'm saying. My problem with this deal, we offered around 30. Apparently, the last offer was around 32 million that we offered for Douglas Luiz around 18 months ago. And Aston Villa rejected it, right? Towards the end of that year, Douglas Luiz signed a new 4-year contract. So he's less than a year into a 4-year contract. At that time, when we made him the offer, he only had a year left on his contract. He wanted the move, and we couldn't get him for £32 million. So my question is this now. That was a struggling Aston Villa as well under Gerrard. They've now got Unai Emery, who isn't going to want to do Arsenal any favours, let's be real. They're now playing very good football. They're in the top half of the Premier League. They're looking good. They're in Europe. The guy's got over 3 years left on his contract, and clearly is happy there because he signed a new deal rather than running down his contract. If they didn't take £32 million under those circumstances, how much are they going to want for him in January under these circumstances now? Me personally, I think they're going to want at least 45, 50 million pounds for him. At least. And Aston Villa are having a good season. I just don't think they're going to be in any mood to let him go. I think it's a difficult deal. If you're going 50, 60 million pounds for Douglas Luiz, I think you're then going into a category where you say, well, if we're paying 50 for him, maybe we can get a real top centre mid for 60. I don't know. I just don't see the deal happening. I'd be very surprised if Aston Villa were willing to let him go. Arsenal obviously consider him a top player. They've been in for him before. I was looking at some details around him. His agent is Kia Jarapchin, another agent that Arsenal have done a lot of work with, and most of it's been for bad reasons. Let me give you a little rundown of Kia Jarapchin, by the way. The last 4 deals that Kia Jarapchin has done with Arsenal, right? Let me give you these 4 players. Willian, disaster. David Luiz, probably the best of a bad bunch, but still not a massive success. Cedric Suarez, my petrol station buddy, who's pretty shocking. I called him Cedric the Entertainer. And Pablo Mari, the left-footed B-Tech Mertesacker. So basically, he's gone in his recycling bin and given us a load of plastic that he's already used. So why the hell we want to work with this guy, I will never know. He's bumped us time after time after time. Brown envelopes all over the place. No wonder he wants Douglas Luiz to go. Imagine how much money he'll get out of it. So the record, Petrol Suarez, that is outstanding, by the way. The record with this guy is shocking. I suppose the only good thing, we do have a good relationship with him. You know, we've done a number of deals with him, so there is a relationship there, but for all the wrong reasons. We're signing all his garbage. So, listen, for me, like I said, I would take Douglas Luiz, but for the numbers they're going to want for him, I don't think the deal personally... if Arsenal were to spend £50 million on Douglas Luiz, it would surprise me, but then they do rate him highly. He's a Brazilian international. Edu knows him. He played for Manchester City in their reserves when Mikel Arteta was there. So the manager and the technical director have a relationship with him. I think we will try and get him. I don't think we will get him personally. Ricky, thank you for the super chat, said, Unai is not selling Luiz to Arsenal. Listen, we know nowadays in football, if enough money's on the table, the manager at most clubs doesn't have a choice in the matter, to be honest. E. Ross said Daily Douglas. Daily Douglas Luiz, people. The numbers they're going to want would be difficult. Is he worth 50 million? I'm not sure. I do like him, though. He's definitely better than the likes of Jorginho and El Neni. Road to Success said he's El Neni with a haircut. Khalid said he's not worth 60 million. Noonan said 50 million on transfer. In the modern game, he probably would cost you 50 million. He plays for Brazil. He's in the Prem. He's 25. He's having a very good season. That's the going rate. People have to understand we paid 65 million for Kai Havertz. So anything below that is still going to look all right. I mean, they did want ESR. Could we use ESR? Would you throw them ESR? But I'd rather use ESR to get a really big player if you were going to let him go. So there you go, Douglas Luiz, people. Simon said Aston Villa owner has money and ambition, won't sell for 60 million. Monaco won't sell for Fana. And Sociedad won't sell Zubimendi. We're still in the Champions League. Hold your fire, people. Brazilian El Neni for sure. I think he's decent. I think you're underplaying him there. I was kind of... A year, 18 months ago, I thought he's just an average midfielder, but because he's Brazilian, people are hyped by him. I think he's improved. He can pass. He's nicking the odd goal, the odd assist now. He's 25. I think there's room to improve there. I would take him, but he doesn't overly excite me. I don't look at him and think, well, Douglas Luiz takes us to the next level. He's not better than Thomas Partey, but obviously Partey's never available. Fofana is out of contract in the summer. The problem with him, there's a 1-year option to extend that triggers in January. So Monaco, of course, will extend it till 2025. So I think you get Fofana in the summer for a decent price. Brazy said, Big C, I'm tired of people taking Arteta's Liverpool v Spurs VAR quote out of context to bash him on the latest referee. He was answering a question that asked if he thinks referee purposely attacked specific teams. His original response was that Liverpool were in the right to be mad. There you go. Not an upgrade, says Guna8. And LSU said, I'll say it again, too expensive for Luiz. Only if it was a player in cash. Just get Neves on loan. Newcastle isn't going to be allowed to take him. We can sort the replacement out in the summer. I saw that. It's interesting. Clubs in Saudi are not allowed to loan their players to clubs that they have links with. So obviously, Newcastle were going to go and get some players on loan, get them on the cheap, Ruben Neves and players like that. I think they're trying to ban it. So yeah, Ruben Neves would be a fantastic player on loan. Big up the Twitch crew, big up the YouTube gang, big up the whole C unit. I am shooting through today's stream a little bit quicker. I have to end it at 22. I'm going live on Bleacher Report at 2:45 for a 20-minute preview of tomorrow's game. Links in the description. Click it, download the mobile app, get involved, and we'll have a bit more discussion on there. The other player that we're being linked with, obviously for those of you just joining, Thomas Partey is out until January 2024. He's had an operation on his thigh. We're now being linked with midfielders, as you can imagine. Douglas Luiz apparently top of that hit list. The other one, again, recycled information, but maybe we will go back in. Arsenal scouts were in San Sebastian on Wednesday night to watch on Real Sociedad's Champions League game with Benfica. One of the main points of interest was Martin Zubimendi. We've been here before. We've had this discussion many, many times. He's a good player, and he does have this release clause, which is about 60 million euros, around 52 million pounds. Good player. I haven't really seen enough of him to really say he's that guy or not. He's a little bit more creative on the ball than Douglas Luiz. But the problem with this, and I've been reading up about this morning, Zubimendi is saying once again, he's not looking to move in January. He is very happy at Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad beat Benfica 3-1 in that game. They are now qualified for the next stage of the Champions League. If they win their last game, they could potentially win the group. Obviously, Arsenal have a good relationship with Sociedad. We loaned out Kieran Tierney, although he's injured for 3 months. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. It doesn't look like it's going to... The player does not want to move. He's saying the club are having a good season. They're flying in the Champions League. They're going into the knockouts. You can trigger that release clause all you want. He does not want to leave. I think in the summer, maybe you can get hold of him. Right now, it's not looking great. So those two players that we're suggesting, they kind of feel like we'll end up getting linked with them the whole of January and then not sign any of them. And yeah, you're right, C-Law. You offer him a massive wage. Maybe he changes his mind. But do we really want a player that doesn't want to come to us but just comes because we've offered to treble his wages? I want the guy to want to play for Arsenal. Some people saying he's a little bit lightweight. I don't know. As I said, he looks very technically gifted. I haven't seen that much of him. But I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. And I think the thing for Arsenal is those two players we've just spoken about, they're not going to excite the fan base. I mean, Cincinnati saying this will be Fabio Vieira part 2. South London's Finest saying Luiz doesn't move the needle. It's very difficult to lift the level of the squad in January unless you have an ownership model that have crazy ambition. Now, people were messaging me yesterday saying, listen, the owner's worth 15 billion. I don't know if that was dollars or pounds, but the guy is worth way more than Todd Boehly. Todd Boehly spent nearly 300 million last January. He bought Enzo Fernandez, Mudryk, and so on and so forth. I keep saying it. People turn around all the time. Arsenal can't... Oh, this ain't Football Manager, Curtis. We can't spend 150, 200 million in January. Why do you think that's the case? How can Chelsea spend 300 million, but we can't? We make more money than them. Our stadium's 20,000 seats bigger. we make more money than Chelsea. We're a bigger club than Chelsea. They can spend 300. People don't think we can spend 150. If that owner wants to finance the deals out of his pocket, he can do it. The reason we won't probably do it is because he's going to say, well, you've spent the money that you earned in the summer on the likes of Havertz and co. So if this owner says, listen, you know what? Last year we could have won it. It hurt me that we didn't win it. This January I'm going to flex on these and show them how much money I've got. Go and get your Ivan Toney. Go and get your centre midfielder. And let's have a real title running. And let's go for it. Game changers. But it's Arsenal, it's the Kroenkes. People have given them credit, and I know, yeah, they do deserve a bit of credit for what they've done, but they don't deserve as much credit as some people think. The money that we've been spending, the majority of it is coming out of the club. It's money that the club have earned. It isn't coming out of their pockets. They need to drop 150 and say, listen, man, we're in the Champions League. We're going to earn more money this year. Maybe we can get rid of a Ramsdale and Nketiah or a Havertz or a Fabio in the summer, and we can recoup that money. He needs to back this manager. I've said it before, I've got question marks over this manager, but one thing's for certain, the owners seem to think he's the guy. That's what they think. He's the one. If you think he's the one, support him. Give him the support he deserves. We need players. We need at least 2 quality players in January. Kroenke can easily loan Arsenal like one. They can. They can if they want to. Jay says, it's not happening. We won't see quality players until June. Somebody said it yesterday. I think they said, I can't remember what the phrase was, but they said, you know, Arsenal, they'll spend big money in the summer, but in January we're in the charity shop. And that's what it feels like. In January we're like paupers. Oh, we'll take Jorginho, you know, in the January sales. You know, when you go January shopping after Christmas and you look and something's half price, it don't quite fit you properly, but because it's so cheap, you just take it for a rainy day anyway. That's kind of what Jorginho's like. I want us to say, no, we want a centre mid. That's the midfielder we want. There's the money, and be ambitious. But it's Arsenal. I'm not too sure whether it's going to happen. Zubimendi, I don't think will happen. I'm going to be honest. The guy is putting out quotes saying he's happy. He doesn't want to go anywhere. It doesn't matter if there's a release clause. Alexander said, going to bed Sunday night with Wolves beating Spurs, us beating Burnley and Chelsea beating City is the timeline I want to live in. Correct, and correct, Alex. I think it'll be a tough game. I don't know if anybody's seen Ange's press conference, but Van der Ven and Maddison have been ruled out until January. So they're going to have a lot of tough games. And obviously, Romero's out for 3 games with suspension. Udogie is out for 1. Can Chelsea do anything against City? I'm not sure, but I hope they can. Ricky said we need to pause Partey till the summer and then sign a proper replacement like Barella, Thuram, Fofana. A new signing will take time and January isn't it. I said it before. If we can't get the Thomas Partey replacement in January, get the Jorginho El Neni upgrade, and I think Douglas Luiz is the upgrade on those 2. And then maybe in the summer you can go for a Barella or a Fofana or someone else. Big up Ricky. Ethan said, let's be real, we're going to end up with Conor Gallagher. I mean, I hope not. I'm not a fan of him at all. And I think Chelsea are happy with him this season. Simon said, Bowley is not spending his money. He's spending the Saudis' $2 billion investment in Clear Lake Cap. That's why they sold these players to Saudi. Yeah, I've heard that. Smart business, really. Snake Eyes, I need a red stripe. I'm just here for the dad joke. Vibes, people. Even if you're just here for vibes and chill, you know. I respect it, people. I respect it. Information, entertainment, dad jokes, relaxation. You're just chilling. Background noise, I'm here, people. Ramiz said, I disagree. Partey is done. I mean, listen, I'm not going to discuss it for obvious reasons. There's a lot of conspiracy theorists saying a lot of different things about Thomas Partey on social media about, you know, but, you know, who knows. Arteta, Edu to blame too, not selling players, FFP. They have to take some of the blame. Well, you know, there are a lot of players here that should have been sold and moved on, and we should have balanced the books out better. But, you know, we haven't done that, unfortunately. So, anyway, let's move on. Press conference reaction, waffle settings from the manager himself. It is that time. Mickey Rose, the boss. Rose, that's my nickname. Coleman music. He's here again, people. He's got a smile on. He's got that Sevilla smile on his face because he knows, we're in the next round of the Champions League. And, he's happy right now. He's happy. Big him up, man. Like I said, people, I question him, but I want him to do well. This is what people don't understand. Constructive criticism is fine in football. Everybody has a right to an opinion. If you're the biggest fan of this guy, cool. If you're not convinced by him, cool. You're a football fan. You've got every right. We're Arsenal Football Club. Has there been improvements? Yes, there has. Are we still demanding more? Yeah, we should be. We should be. Right, if he's waffling, we're skipping because I've got to come off here in 10 minutes. Make sure you join me on the Bleacher Report. The link's in the description. I'll be there 2:45, 20-minute preview. Right, let's go through it. I do this just for vibes, really. I very often come out of this press conference happy. Usually I'm half asleep, but we're doing it for vibes. On the latest team news, he said, you mentioned we have a few are still in contention. We need to give them 24 more hours. He does that every single time. On if anyone is definitely not available, he said Timber is for sure not. Partey is out. Emil is out. There might be a few more. On Bakayo being called up for England, on if he will be brought back by last time, he said hopefully not. We want our players to play for their club and their national team. B, man's calling him B, man like B, Saka. B had to leave the pitch. He was in quite a lot of pain. He trained yesterday. Let's see if he can make it tomorrow. I mean, if he trained yesterday, I expect him to be playing. Again, how about you take him off the pitch when he's limping? That might help. On if Eddie will be... On Eddie not being selected for England, he said, I don't know what's the reason. That's a question for Gareth. I know how important he is for the national team. Not lying, bro. He's not that important. And how much he enjoys being there in the last few experiences, that's a decision that's not in my hands. On Thomas Partey's procedure impacting the amount of time he's out, he put no, hopefully not. He's progressing well. It was a significant injury. Hopefully it's going to be weeks and not months. He's working towards that. He needs support. Hopefully the injury will heal in the right way. We'll have him back. He's a big player. And if he will be back for the AFCON, he said that's part number 2. Let's get him quick and healthy as possible and play a big part in the team, which I think he can do that. On Aaron, and if he will be selected for the Euros, he said, I haven't spoken to him about that. On the independent key match incidents panel, deciding the Newcastle goal was a valid one. He said, I think we had a lot of reactions. It's time to move forward, focus on Burnley. On if he would like to know who is on the panel, I think at some point we will know. On if he would like to join the panel, he said, it's a possibility. Everything is a possibility in life. Everything is possible, people. Is Eddie fit? I think, well, he didn't say, did he, that Eddie was out. So I think Eddie will be available. Fitz is here as he let off the clip. All the problems roads lead to the Cronkies. They employed Arteta and Edu. Clueless. Until we get new owners, Arsenal's ambition will remain on the floor. I've told you, Fitz, stop holding back. Just say what you feel. We're all waiting for Fitz to just be upfront about what he thinks about Arsenal. That's all I'm waiting for. Fitz, big up yourself. Thank you for saying it as you believe it is. And this is what I'm saying. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Big up man like Fitzroy on this Friday. Big up, big up, big up. Although Rax don't agree with it. But hey, it is what it is. Speak your truth, people. On Vincent Kompany and how he's doing at Burnley, we're definitely not reading that. I'm not interested in that. Vincent Kompany on how tough Burnley have found it this season. Not interested. On if they ever discussed becoming managers together. He said, yeah, we discussed it. He was doing his badges. I was already there. That's a diss track at Kompany. I was there before you. Track 4 featuring Edu. I'm joking, people. Mickey Ross, on similarities in the style, I think we have a lot of similarities. Skip, on reports it will take 10 years to iron out VAR. Oh, just the 10 years. He said, I don't know. I'll probably be bold in 10 years. Life will be different. Maybe we will have other rules in football. On beating Sevilla, and almost securing qualification, he said, I was very pleased. We won the game, how much we restricted the opponent. On the flexibility of Leo, given the injuries we have up front, I'm really happy with him. It's been almost a year since he joined. We all knew his qualities. On if there is unwarranted pressure on Kai Havertz, he don't deserve no pressure. No Pressure featuring Kai Havertz, track 10 on the new mixtape by Mickey Ross, Cone Man Music, part 4. Ooh, kid. Ramiz said, B is being overplayed. You're right. Big up yourself, bro. Big up yourself. He said, I don't know. I can tell you I'm really pleased with the way he's performing. He's talking about Havertz here, by the way, just to bring you up to date here. He's really happy with the way he's performing. He said, obviously, looking at the numbers, just specifically the numbers of what he's producing in front of goal, those have to be improved. That's an understatement. 1 goal, 1 assist in 17 games. I mean, geez. Pete, it is worth a sip. He said those have to be improved. We have to improve them. But in many other areas of the pitch, what he gives the team at the moment is really important. I mean, walking down the tunnel, in the changing room, in the bar after the game, you know, he's unbelievable. You know, around that stadium, he's been incredible. Not on the pitch, but around that stadium, he's doing things that you just, you know, if you can't see what he does off the ball, Curtis, you don't understand football. You know, it's the things that you can't see him do. You know, he's a magician. He's like David Blaine. He's just making things disappear. So he's really happy with him. But listen, he's going to defend his boy, innit? Yeah, I get it. I do get it. But straight cap. On if Aaron wanted to move to get the chance to impress Southgate, first of all, my door is open to speak to players. We just want the best for our players. Let's skip it. On whether Guardiola will influence a pool of managers like Sir Alex Ferguson and Wenger, he said for sure, and there will be many more. Company and Arteta, 2 of Pep's babies, you could say. On Aaron attracting interest from clubs in January, he said, I have no messages for other clubs. I can talk about my players, how much I like Aaron. We want Aaron with us. On Gabriel Jesus being called up by Brazil, we always try to speak with the national teams, find common sense. The only important thing is the best interest of the player. On Martin Odegaard, if he has been able to train, he said he's still racing against the clock. He's trying everything that he can. Let's see. It's a possibility. On having so many injuries at once and the depth we have in the squad, if we need more depth in January, which we do, he said some of the injuries were bad luck, some are long-term, some special players we didn't have when we didn't have a lot of depth. We can talk about depth. Sometimes you have to talk about specific positions. Certain units are a little bit shorter. That's the challenge. Other people have to step up. It's a good test for the team, how we take those moments and how we respond. So far, the team is doing well. End the waffle, get on with it, and move on. It's a shocker. You know, it's just a boring one. Nothing's really happening. Nothing's really being said. Just looking at the table. Arsenal against Burnley. It's one of them games. 3 o'clock, by the way. So, you know, it's... Yeah, I will be disappearing in about 3 minutes over to the Bleacher Report stream. Make sure you join me for that. It's one of them games that, listen, when you want to boost your confidence, you would pick this game. Let's have a quick look at Burnley. Last week we hammered Sheffield United. These lot are not far off. They're a stinky team. 9 goals scored. 8 goals scored. 27 conceded. They're the lowest scorers in the Premier League, and they've got the second worst defence in the Premier League. There's not much. They've won 1 game that was against Luton, I believe. They've lost their last 4. You know, Vincent Kompany's trying to play Pep Guardiola football with some Lambrini players. Like, it don't add up. We should be smashing them. This should be at least 3-0. We should not be conceding, and we should be brushing them aside. Now, it's the Premier League. It doesn't always happen like that. Man United only beat them 1-0. That was at Burnley, though. Away from home, they are shocking. And listen, I'll be honest, I'll be disappointed if Arsenal don't win this game at least 3-0. I'd love to see us go and smash them 4 or 5-0, really, and get the confidence up. They're a poor team, and I think they're in big, big trouble because Kompany looks like he's going to stick with his principles of just trying to play total football. And I think, you know, they could get relegated. Arsenal 4th, a victory tomorrow. I mean, we're unlikely to go top unless we score 6. That will take us top. That would, of course, involve Tottenham drawing or losing. And you know, they've got a tough game away at Wolves. The lineup, for me, I think we will play probably the same lineup that played against Sevilla. My only doubt is is obviously Tomiyasu, who looked like he had a knock. He did say that Saka trained yesterday, so I would imagine Saka's going to be all right. I think you might see Zinchenko come back in for Tomiyasu just because of the amount of possession we're going to have. I think it will be similar to the Sheffield United game where he doesn't think we have to have two defensive-minded fullbacks. So I expect Zinchenko to come in for Tomiyasu at left-back. I think the rest of the team will probably remain the same unless maybe Odegaard's available. So I think Raya will be in goal. I think the back four will be Ben White, Gabriel, Saliba and Zinchenko. I think he'll play Jorginho, Havertz and Declan Rice. And I think the front three will be Saka, Martinelli and Trossard. And I really enjoyed that front three. A lot of movement, a lot of mobility, goals, assists. They link up well. Trossard links well with the two wingers. I think he'll start. Eddie will probably be on the bench. It seems as if he should be available. But I'm looking at that front three again. So I think Zinchenko will probably be the only change unless he decides to try and squeeze Odegaard into the team and maybe takes out Kai Havertz would be the one. Ramsdale won't play until next year. I don't think Ramsdale will kick a ball until probably the FA Cup, if I'm being totally honest. Zinni will eventually be in the middle. Do something, Havertz. We keep saying it. Bottom of the league, Sheffield United. Could he do something? No, he didn't. Now you've got second bottom. Can he do something? Let's hope he does. We keep saying it, and all we can do is hope when it comes to Kai Havertz, people. People, thank you very much for tuning in. Shorter than usual show today, but nearly 2,000 of you in the chat. Hit the like on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're 700 subscribers away from 70,000. So let's get there sooner rather than later. I'm going on Bleacher Report now. The link is in the description. I'll be on there for 20 minutes for a little preview. And then tomorrow I'll be live at 2 p.m. for a 3 p.m. watch along. So get yourself involved. Thank you very much for giving up your time. Have a great Friday. I'll see some of you over on Bleacher. If not, I will see you tomorrow, people. Bless.